Hi folks, my name is Linda Emmett and welcome to Happiness is an Inside Job. We are the creators of our own reality, we create our own lives. Our mind is our biggest limit and it's our own beliefs, behaviours and habits constantly caught in those cycles that keep us trapped where we are and stand in the way of our own happiness. So throughout this podcast, we're going to take a deep dive into some of those beliefs, habits and patterns, where they show up in your lives and what you can do to change them. Hi folks, and welcome to this week's podcast. And this week I'm going to take a bit of a dive into breathwork, in how it has helped me so much in my life, and so much that I went on and trained as a breathwork instructor to bring it into my business, my classes, workshops, all of those spaces. And it's because I absolutely see the power and the benefits in it that can completely reshape your inner world and therefore have a massive impact on your health, your well-being, and how you're showing up, how you're waking up, how you're feeling each day, and bringing these practices into our own daily lives. And even without that, whether you are or aren't going to do an actual breathwork practice, but how the breath itself and how we're breathing each day impacts so much within our physical, emotional and mental being. So buckle up folks, because here we go. So first, it's looking at what we gain from breathwork itself. And breathwork itself gives us the ability to change our relationship with our own states of being. And when we talk about states of being, we're talking about our own emotional states, how we're feeling within ourselves, what emotions we have running through our body, what's going on within our system, because they're the things that impact us the most. If we're living or sitting in anger, upset, frustration, exhaustion, any of those things each day, or we're living there in our lives, this hugely impacts our physical health, our emotional health, and how we're showing up for ourselves each day. And breathwork gives us the learning and the power to literally change our own state of being. So if you're in an upset, angry, you can literally learn to change your own state, your own emotional state. And we can learn to literally, and this one took me a while, to learn to smile at yourself, to nearly laugh at yourself. We take ourselves so seriously, and the level of expectation we have of ourselves, who we're to be, how we're to show up, how we've to act, behave, what makes us worthy that day of relaxing and a good night's sleep, all of these things. And breathwork gives you the power and the learning to be able to just smile at yourself, to be able to just breathe. See a situation for what it is and smile at yourself, to see all you do rather than all you don't do, and to shift your state into a more positive state. It's the ability for us to be able to become an observer of our own thoughts and emotions rather than be hijacked by our own thoughts and emotions. The ability to step back and notice when we're feeling overwhelmed, stress or upset, and recognize that we are having these thoughts and emotions, but we are not these thoughts and emotions. We are just, as I say, we are just having them. And breath work it's the use of breath awareness and consciously breathing, training ourselves to consciously breathe. And whether that is, as I say, building in a full practice, or catching yourself throughout the day when you're stressed or you're overwhelmed, and stopping yourself and allowing yourself to just breathe, allowing yourself to recognize that your nervous system is being triggered, it's going into fight or flight, and that you can stop, breathe and start feeling what sensations are going on in your body and what's coming up for you. Because a lot of where we as adults, we don't breathe properly anymore. we are in anxiety, we're in stress, we're in overwhelm. It's all about productivity, how much we're doing in the day rather than how we're being in the day. And over time, that trains us out of breathing correctly. When we're anxious and stressed, we're breathing shallow, we're breathing fast, and this is charging up our system for fight or flight. And bringing our breath back down to normal therapeutic levels is disengaging our parasympathetic nervous system and re-engaging our sympathetic nervous system. And I actually think I said that the wrong way around, folks. It's disengaging our sympathetic nervous system and re-engaging our parasympathetic nervous system. Linda's tripping over our words today. And it's learning this, that if you can invite this and bring this into your own life, you're literally gaining control over your own mind, your own body, and the emotions that are running in your system. So this, at a basic foundational level, changes your state of being and how you're feeling within yourself. And proper breath work and engaging the breath and calming ourselves and starting to breathe correctly starts with our posture. When we're going into a stressed or triggered state, an anxious state, automatically our body, or we have the thoughts, we build a story around them, like, oh my God, I'm going to make a fool of myself, or I'm going to be negatively judged. We start thinking this, we create an abysmal negative story around it, and our body goes into, our amygdala is triggered, which is our fight or flight, and our body goes into the pre-trained pattern state of anxiety or stress. And our shoulders will slump over, we'll clench more, our jaw, our hands, our whole body is braced, it's tight. And this is our system engaged in the stress state. We're either preparing to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And feeling into our breath and recognizing that this is actually happening in our system and what's going on and what are the thoughts behind it, and separating ourselves from those thoughts and emotions is a huge part of the benefits that we get from breath work. So we can, over time, when we master the art of it, and that's just breathing, folks, mastering the art of breathing. It's no really insane techniques. I'll talk a bit on techniques in a few minutes, but it's literally allowing ourselves to start breathing correctly and taking that time out of our day where we're breathing correctly. And this maximizes our performance. It reduces our stress and anxiety. It's even on a cellular level. When we're stressed, the protective mechanism that sits around our cells, the telomere, breaks down much faster, which means we're aging faster when we're stressed. So even down to our longevity and our lifespan, we're optimizing our own health and our own longevity purely through learning how to breathe again and allowing ourselves to be rather than do, stepping out of that productivity state and into the just being, without the guilt, without the to-do list running in your head. And it's learning to utilize and use that state and allow yourself to just be there. And first, looking at breath work, say from the physical side, for most of us, our breathing system is not functioning correctly. And when you think of it, above water, food, sleep, breath is the very essence of our life. When we're born, it's the very first thing we do is breathe. And that's how they know when they birth us in hospitals that we're alive. We take a breath. And that's how vital and important it is to us above everything else. We cannot survive without breathing more than minutes. We can survive without food, without water, but we cannot survive without breathing for more than minutes. So building in how to breathe again and how to be again is powerful for your own happiness, health and well-being. And we all have a structure of what success looks like to us. But if you're waking up calmer and happier in each day, if you're going into situations calmer and happier in situations, this all hugely impacts your success in life. Because if you can be successful at this, you're feeling good. You're feeling good. And that needs to be our purpose, how we're feeling in ourselves. So just looking, as I say, at the physical side of the impact of breathing correctly. 70% of the toxins in our bodies are released through our lungs. And if we're not breathing correctly, we're not releasing those toxins. If we're breathing fast, shallow, anxious, stressed, rushing around, we're not releasing all the toxins we have the ability to release. We also, when we're breathing in through our nose, our system filters out pollen particles and all of these things. When we're anxious, we're breathing through our mouth. So just by the art of getting back to breathing in through our nostrils again makes a huge difference to what we're filtering out of our system before it even enters. So even on the benefits of the likes of catching viruses and different things like that, even in that respect, it's very beneficial. Breathing in through our nose means the air is moist going into our system. It means that it's starting to heat when it's going through our system. Whereas if we're breathing in through our mouth, we're taking it in as the temperature it is outside. So we're more prone to infections, and we can take in, when we're breathing in through our mouth, we can take in much bigger gulps, which gives us the opportunity to breathe much faster and to breathe shallow. So even learning to breathe through your nose has huge benefits. It also means that we produce nitrate oxide when we're breathing in through our nose. And when we're producing that, that's literally, it opens up our airways, it allows the blood to flow much easier, and it also kills off a number of viruses. So even again, on a basic physical health level, it has huge benefits to bring us back to learning to breathe in through our nose again. And again, this is just in our everyday. This is without a breathwork practice. These are some of the benefits it can have. And as I mentioned earlier about our nervous system, the main regulator, our nervous system, is the main regulator of our stress response. And we're either in the sympathetic nervous system or we're in the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight. When we're breathing fast and shallow, we're in fight or flight. When we're breathing slow and more relaxed, we're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system. So even to calm your system down, breathing slowly and breathing more relaxed automatically engages your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. So you're literally instructing your own body to go into a more relaxed state. These are the things we have control over. And I find, and I work a lot with anxiety and stress and addictions, in both me one-to-one practice and in workshops and things like that. And people often that struggle with anxiety and even stress, and again myself in the past, didn't know how much control I have over my own system. We're so separated at times from our mind, and we are our emotions and we are our thoughts. We don't realise that we actually control the body we're in. We control the running of that body. We control the emotional states. We have choices. We can shift our own emotional state. We can shift our nervous system. And there are natural practices that our body knows and mechanisms it has built into it to do this. And all we're doing through breath work is utilising what the body already has for it to heal itself and to optimise how you're living and how you're feeling each day. Now, while I can name off a number of different styles of breathwork and a number of different phenomenal techniques that are out there in different ways of breathing, and there's different amazing people that have carried them on and built practices and wrote books about them. There's basically two types of breathwork, and these, I mean, like breathwork and pranayama yoga are going back. I mean, like they've this style, and they've the history on this style dating back 5,000 to 10,000 years ago, where this was practiced back then. This is not new. This is something that people recognized thousands of years ago to be hugely beneficial to connecting the mind and body and for health and well-being. And we're moving away far more as a collective from just, I suppose, pill popping and working with just curing the ailment. Now we're looking more at preventing these things in the first place, and these are one of the things we can utilize to do that. So the two main styles of breath work are strong and deep breathing practices. So really strong practices. And these are known that this is hyperventilating. This is when we're hyperventilating ourselves. And these are very, very powerful for activating and unblocking the mind and the energy and the emotional system. And these also engage our sympathetic nervous system. It engages it to burn out basically impurities within our body and this is our mental and physical body. Because we're charging up our system, we're engaging it to literally cleanse itself, to clear your system out at a mental and emotional level. And this is what the strong breathing is used for. And then after the strong breathing, what you'd usually do is take a few minutes then to allow the body to reharmonize, resettle and rebalance, and then move into a slow and calming breathing technique. And these would be your more relaxed state, and this is where you're inducing relaxation in your body. And where these will show up more would be, I'll bring them into meditation. I'll do strong breathing practices and then slow breathing practices, but always I tend to do the strong ones first because it's a cleanse, it's a clearing, it's charging up your energy system, it's clearing out any impurities, any toxins out at a cellular level, a mental level, and just giving you a beautiful cleanse. And then into the slow, calm and breathing techniques where we allow the nervous system to completely slow down and feel again what it's like to be at that slow pace, to just be, to just breathe, to just notice the different sensations in our own bodies. We become terrified of actual sensations in our own system. We become triggered by them. But the minute we feel something that's like a fluttering in our stomach or our body is shaking, we run away from it in our minds. We move away, we distract ourselves. Therefore, over time, just not even recognizing anymore what it's like to feel into your own body, to feel a sensation in our feet, to feel a sensation in our toes, to allow ourselves not only to just focus on our body when we feel a pain somewhere, but to be able to move our attention away from that and focus on all parts of our being and our body, and being able to ask the questions, well, what is that I'm feeling? What is that sensation? What is that tingling I'm feeling there? And to not take it as the who you are, to take it as that's just a sensation I'm feeling right now, and I will allow that to pass. I will allow that to go, and in a moment another sensation will come in. But we get so caught up in our sensations, we build stories around it and go, this is why I'm feeling this now, I'm nervous because I think she's going to say, and I'm going, and this is where we go. And it's allowing ourselves to be and just be okay with what's coming up in our body, and to learn again how to engage our that word is catching me today, folks, parasympathetic nerve system, and what it feels like for our heart to be beating slowly and our whole system to slow down and just be, and be out of that productivity state, that doing state, and move more into the being state. And allow ourselves, if guilt comes up because we're being, allow ourselves to recognize that and own it and say, well, that's guilt coming up. I'm going to let that pass. I'm going to let that go and not get carried away with it. And what I hear often from people, especially that first come to class, is, you know, I can't relax, or I can't just be, or I can't let all my thoughts go. Or meditation and breath work, like any practice, like if you went to the gym tomorrow and decided you were going to get yourself a kick-ass fit body, and you were going to be ripped and shredded, or you were going to lose 3 stone or gain 3 stone, or whatever it is, whatever reason you're going, that takes time and practice. You need to learn the movements, you need to learn how to do the thing, you need to dedicate time, maybe 3 times a week, 4 times a week for an hour. You need to build that into your day. You need to build it in as a practice. You need to understand what you're doing. All of these things before your body learns this. And over time, it becomes so ingrained after you've done it so many times that your body literally takes it on as a subconscious habit. There's no more thinking about it anymore. You don't. And it's the same with breath work and meditation. It is allowing yourself the time and space. And if thoughts come into your head, like they do for everybody, it's allowing them just to be thoughts, to observe them and go, oh, look at that thought coming in. You know, there's my madness, there's my frustration, and let it go. And refocus just on breathing. That's where how and when you build the practice and giving yourself the time. A lot of the time we get frustrated with ourselves. Oh, I'm not able to do this, or I have this story running in my head, or I'm super stressed this week, or I'm super busy, or I'm super this. All of these things which stand in the way of us doing these things for ourselves. And breath work and meditation, and as I say, whether it's learning to breathe daily, just get back to breathing normally, or taking it up as a practice, has phenomenal benefits across all patterns of your life. I know for me, certainly, it was how I had crippling anxiety. I was terrified. I was terrified of the world, of people, of everything, of judgments, I was in so much grief and pain, and breath work was definitely my first real steps, and learning and healing out of it. That was a huge part of my path and my journey forward. And that's why even with the one-to-one clients and in my practice overall, I teach it and I give it to clients as something that will help them across all aspects of their lives to be in control and to be able to manage and understand our own thoughts and emotions. And that is the biggest benefit, because it is our thoughts and emotions that run our lives, because they run our body states, our mind states, our energy states. The whole kit and caboodle is wrapped up in our thoughts and our emotions. So if we can learn to accept these, to understand these, to let them pass through rather than suppressing, oppressing, eating them, running away from them, hiding them, shaming them, guilting them, if we can learn to do that through breathing, have the ability to let go of all of that and live happier. And for me, that is true success. That is having the ability to be able to connect with who you truly are, and not your ego and shadow states. It's who you truly are underneath all that. And all you need to do is get back to just breathing. So that's it for me for this week, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it and got some fabulous takeaways. And as always, I invite you to connect in with me across social media, or check me out on my website, www.yourgifttoyou.com, or email me, linda@yourgifttoyou.com, guys, because I'd love to hear from you and any topics you'd like for us to talk about, or any more learnings that you want. And please remember, give me those reviews, because it keeps the podcast getting out there to more people. So chat to you very soon, guys. Bye bye.